is that the Falcons signed Justin Simmons today, 1 year, $8 million deal. So that's two pretty big ads for the defense. Are we starting to believe Atlanta's going for it, Greg?
They're trying. They're definitely trying to win that division. I believe that they will win that division. Obviously, Raheem Morris, defensive coordinator, defensive side of the ball, he's going to focus on bolstering that side of the ball. That's what he's doing. Obviously, getting Judon, you mentioned it yesterday, I think, in break or something. He's a player. Like, he is one of those guys. And he doesn't get enough credit because we didn't see him last year because of the injury. But for me, this is about their offense and what it's going to look like. You kind of alluded to this at some point, maybe yesterday or whenever we were talking. We don't know about Kyle Pitts because we haven't seen that Florida Gator version of Kyle Pitts in the National Football League. Drake London, we don't know about Drake London because we haven't seen that USC version in the National Football League due to quarterback play. So I do believe they have an upgrade at quarterback, clearly, with Kirk Cousins and even Michael Penix Jr. Bijan Robinson, we know what he's going to be able to do. So it's a matter of what they look like offensively and how can they complement one another. But when you're putting together a team, you're going to have to learn how to win, especially in win late games and close games. And, Coach, you can speak to this. That will be their biggest hurdle. It's kind of how I felt about the Packers last year. I felt like they were going to be, go through some woes, but they were going to have to figure out how to win with Jordan Love at quarterback. That's going to be the case with this Atlanta Falcons team and Kirk Cousins at the helm.
Yeah, I've actually liked Atlanta the last couple of years, and I thought that they would win the division. I think they're going to win the division this year, and I think that when you look at them offensively, they've got 6 number ones on offense, and that's without Kirk Cousins. Okay, so there's 6 number ones.
Does it include Penix, who won't play?
It doesn't include
Okay,
Penix.
all right, then that's fair.
6 number ones starting on the offensive side, including 3 on the offensive line. They've run the ball pretty effectively over time. Bijan, I think, had 4.6 yards a carry last season. So you've got that aspect to it. And with adding a guy like Matthew Judon at this point in the season, assuming he's healthy, he is a guy that can ruin a game. And we saw him ruin games for other people when he was in New England, and he has that kind of impact. And he also seems like he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
So you had a veteran presence who's excited to be there, who has a chance to impact a defense that to me has been competitive a lot of times in a division that hasn't been very competitive. So this team should be very good, very competitive, and make a lot of noise this season.
All right, so 2 points. First one is this allows them one of the reasons people were so, if they were critical of the Penix pick, was because they wanted them to take an edge rusher at 8. Because this team had no edge rushers to speak of. Now, long term, whoever you took at 8 as an edge rusher would have more upside than 32-year-old Matthew Judon. But for this season, I would imagine Judon is a better player than whomever they were going to take at 8. So it kind of allows you to, I don't want to say make up for the mistake of Penix, because I'm not saying that was a mistake, it was a choice. But the big criticism of that was you had top 10 pick and he's not going to play this year, but it was because it was a long-term thing. So for Atlanta, that is very, you know what I mean? It fills in that hole for this season very, very well. My takeaway was different, though, because my takeaway is about the deal the Patriots turned down. And so can we show the quote from Phil Perry's article? Because I find it interesting. There were several teams interested in acquiring the 32-year-old, including, to league sources, the Bears, whose desire for a pass rusher led them to offer a 3rd-round selection of their own. The Patriots opted for the Atlanta pick, which is a 3rd-round selection, no conditions, now in 9 choices 2025 draft. You just said the Falcons are going to win the division. You just said the Falcons are going to win the division.
You think the Patriots believe in the Bears?
Well, what I know is this. The Patriots said you can have the Bears' 3rd-round pick or Atlanta's 3rd-round pick. And they said, we think Atlanta's going to have the better pick.
Well,
so
the Patriots have been making a lot of good decisions.
Okay, well, listen.
Yeah,
I would go based off that they probably nailed it.
Okay, but no, listen. Maybe they're wrong, but I did find that interesting. That they had the exact same offer from 2 teams. One of those teams is the Vegas favorite to make the playoffs, and that means host a playoff game, winning that division. And the Patriots said, yeah, we still think that pick is going to be better than Chicago's.
The only thing I would put a caveat on here, and again, it's an imagination take. Are they doing right by Judon? Do they give those to Judon and be like, hey, you know what, you were here, you're a great Patriot.
Oh, maybe.
We basically have the same offer here.
So I mean, I guess that's on the board.
Falcons or
and the Falcons. There's warm weather if you care about that. Maybe it's a more fun city. I don't know.
Maybe Judon said he didn't want to go to Chicago.
That's
if that's
the
Judon
case.
wanted to stay with the Patriots, like he tweeted, could you fail a physical?
yes.
From
Well,
the
they don't
broken
have
heart?
salary caps. Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
We have $50 million.
I know.
Well, are we talking about Patriots here?
What are we doing with $50 million?
Next
Roll it
year.
up.
Okay, let's focus on the Falcons here. Okay. Listen, I like how Nick's trying to highlight, the Patriots believe that the Falcons are actually going to be worse, and so it's better. Who cares what the Patriots think? The Patriots have been like a disaster for the last 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it may be. So I don't care about what their predictions are or how they're operating right now. Are you kidding me? Especially because that franchise right now is just run by straight nepotism and like not actual, clear, intelligent thinking. So I don't care. I'm not going to use that as a frame of reference. It's one thing if they were truly this cutthroat organization, still packed with, just geniuses making amazing decision after amazing decision after amazing decision, then I could understand. But no, that's not the case. So using what the Patriots think about the Falcons, I don't care. That's comically absurd. That means nothing to me. But it is funny because Greg Jennings now picks the Falcons, and Mangini's picking the Falcons. And I've been picking the Falcons for months now to win this division. And I did it in a Tampa Bay Bucks video, and oh my God, are the Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers fans not so happy about that? God, I encourage you to go. You don't even have to watch the video. Just go read the comments. Just search my channel, Tampa Bay Bucks or whatever on my channel, and just read the comments. It's just comment after comment after comment about how dumb I am, how much of a clown I am. I'm going to eat my words. It's just one thing after the other, right? Like it's actually kind of funny at this point. I'm still getting comments from a video that I made like forever ago. Which is not very typical in sports videos. Usually, it's really only like the most current stuff or people watching. But yeah, the Atlanta Falcons are making moves. They are totally set up to be a legitimate team this year. Make no mistake about it. Kirk Cousins is a smooth operator, okay? And you're linking him up with a legitimate offensive coordinator with legitimate weapons. Okay, which will then put the Falcons, because I think Kirk Cousins is at best when he's not on his back foot offensively, meaning that the defense doesn't have an advantage. They don't have him feeling uncomfortable. I admit, if you're making Kirk Cousins consistently uncomfortable, then yeah, you can run into some problems. But when Kirk Cousins is comfortable and can and has the right, a right offensive identity with a good game plan and enough weapons to work with, he can absolutely positively pick you apart. Absolutely. It's not up for debate. He's been doing it for years. Again, and the fact that he's been able to succeed in the ways he has, considering the circumstances that he's been put in, is really great. Shows his resilience. And think Jared Goff at this point, since I feel like that's a more current example of someone who's had success, who's not such a fancy quarterback that people aren't super high on. I think Goff is great, but I know like the average fan doesn't necessarily think that way. And we saw Goff when he was put in a good situation with weapons, with a coordinator, not being outcoached, and not being constantly made to feel uncomfortable. What happened? He balled out. He played great. He consistently put his team in a position to win football games, getting to the NFC Championship game, and put his team in a position to get to the Super Bowl. Was not his fault that they didn't. That is what Kirk Cousins can do. Now you add potentially a great defense to now actually give you the lead, to not force Kirk Cousins to, win a shootout game after game after game. The Falcons can be for real. Again, I don't know what the ceiling is for the Falcons. I really have no idea. But can they really surprise some people and shock some teams? I really do believe it. I really do. I think Kirk Cousins should make a full recovery. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm betting too much on modern science these days, but I think he should not really skip a beat. I believe in the OC that they hired. I don't know enough about their head, what he will be like as their new head coach, like what he will be as an actual head coach. There's always that's always I don't want to say up for debate, but that's always a question mark with any new head coach, no matter who it is. There's plenty of great coordinators that I think are awesome and elite and geniuses, and I believe in them wholeheartedly. But I would say the same thing about them. Like, yeah, you still don't know, can they run, a team? Can they run? Can they be the director of an entire franchise, of an entire team? There's a lot of moving parts that not everyone can do. So that technically is a question mark. I'm not saying he can't do it, but it is technically a question mark. You haven't done it yet, so you have to prove you can. But I'm not anticipating it being a disaster. I mean, I would find that surprising personally, but I really think that the Falcons are obviously being aggressive. They're obviously doing everything they can, and they obviously believe in what they're doing and what they have in front of them. And so honestly, that's more important to me than whatever the Patriots view of them. Like, why would I care what the Patriots view of the Falcons? It's an absurd thing to even bring up. I mean, I get it. I guess it could be kind of interesting to bring up and kind of dissect a little bit, but like, he brought it up as it being more of like a fact, right? Kind of like the Patriots are saying this, like, we all need to really think about that for a second. It's like, you can bring it up more or less to pretty much make fun of it and disarm it and to kind of say that, this is, not accurate, rather than being like, this is giving me pause because this is what the Patriots feel. If it was the 49ers, if it was the Kansas City Chiefs, if it was the Eagles, right? If it was some of these teams that consistently make great decisions from a front office standpoint, then I would say, okay, that is interesting. That, what do the 49ers know that I don't? That makes sense. The Patriots, this is not in the early 2000s, okay? It is 2024, and whatever they're doing, I do not need to use as a frame of reference for anything. So I think the Falcons are in great shape. I think they have big potential, and I will say it again, I absolutely firmly believe they are going to win this division, and I think that they are going to clearly prove to be, like, it's going to be obvious that they are the best team in the division, right? Whether the record actually ends up shaping up, because football seasons can be crazy, whether it ends up being like a commanding lead in the division, I don't know. I feel like these days it's harder and harder to get commanding runaway divisional wins, even if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, quite frankly. But I think it'll be very obvious that the Falcons are the best team in the division, and if anything, there'll be teams kind of like hoping like, oh, I don't want to get the Falcons because they are going to be a difficult out come time playoffs. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Are you starting to believe in the Atlanta Falcons? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.